It's Wednesday, March 20th, 2019, and time for your Barbados Today morning news update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Williams. Residents are waiting with bated breath to hear what the government has in store for them as Prime Minister Mia Mottley presents the budget later today. The Barbados Consumer Research Organization is telling the administration to hold off on raising bus fares with the indication that the price could double from the current $2. Government hasn't said when this could take effect. The Barbados Private Sector Organization wants more focus on growing the economy. On the other hand, the Small Business Association is hoping for a general ease to give residents more disposable income. It also wants an adjustment to the water rates for small businesses and is calling for VAT returns and personal income tax refunds to be paid by the end of this year. Meantime, the Democratic Labour Party wants government to focus on issues affecting ordinary Barbadians, such as crime. Around 80 Transport Board workers have agreed to leave voluntarily at the end of the month, but this is still far shy of the 200 reduction in the number of employees that officials say is needed for the state-owned entity to be financially viable. This news comes just days before the Transport Board is weaned from central government financing. Barbados Today's Colville Muncy spoke to Transport Board Chairman Gregory Nichols.
There are almost 80 people who have agreed to go home voluntarily, who asked to go home so they can get their benefits and so forth. And that is the only thing that I believe that the parties are likely to agree before the 31st.
Before the 31st?
Yeah. Those details haven't been worked out because, as you may recall, that government has reaffirmed its commitment to pay those workers their gratuity.
Okay.
Right? So that has to be calculated. Money has to be allocated for it, and those details have to be worked out.
Okay.
So those persons who will go home voluntary that would be entitled to a gratuity, because the union and the Transport Board will now have to agree when the gratuity payments will take effect from, because the Transport Board right now is not in law required to pay a gratuity and was never required to pay gratuity to workers on their termination from Transport Board.
A new team has put itself forward to take over the leadership of Barbados' largest public sector union. It's been led by Verrill Scott, who has more than 35 years of service with the union and is vying for the post of president. Elections are scheduled for April 3rd. In presenting the team at the union headquarters yesterday evening, Scott said the very existence of the NUPW is being threatened.
If we changed and say lows instead of ebbs, the ebbs are so severe on our members, rather, that to my mind it is threatening the very existence of the union. This situation is very disturbing. And this team, with Daria, Isola, Edsel, Kenmore, and David and I, we felt that we have to do something about it. We decided that in order to cushion the severe impact of these austerity measures that are now facing our members, which are now, and there's good reason to believe that they will continue in the future. What we felt we need to do is to create what we term a safe space, or perhaps a family space, right here in the Union of Public Workers.
The group calls itself the Engine for Growth, and it's proposing a restructuring of the union, among other initiatives.
We propose to revamp the constitution of this union for the simple reason we want to curb abuse of power and financial resources. We also envisioned a restructured secretariat where staff members can see promotional opportunities and career development. We should also conduct proper appraisal and reward systems for the staff. I expect in this restructuring there'll be a lot more use of technology There's no reason why a member of this union should carry a grievance for long period when the technology allows communication.
Steps are being taken to give effect to a digital currency arrangement which could possibly see transactions being conducted between the Barbados Central Bank and its counterpart in the Eastern Caribbean. Yesterday, officials of Barbadian company BIT, which has partnered with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank in piloting a new digital currency, gave an update on their progress. Chief economist at BIT, Marla Dukaran, is confident others will come on board once two countries take the first step and the kinks are ironed out.
We're going to launch a working group tentatively. I think we're set for the 25th of April, yes, is our launch at the CDB. And we also have central banks involved in the working group from the region as well as outside. We have some private sector entities, Massey and Musson Group from Jamaica have agreed. And we have some subject matter experts who were former central bank governors, former ministers of finance, attorneys, bankers, trade specialists, for example, all as well included in the working group. So we have a nice working group of experts who will help to drive and shape what this is going to look like, and from an operational and a legal perspective. So we're quite confident that the wheels are being set in motion to make this a reality. Again, we have to go through the whole regional political and bureaucratic machinery to make it happen. So it might be some time before it's actually operationalized. But I feel in the next year or so we might see the test between the EC and Barbados. And I think once it's tested in one pair, the others will be willing to join.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Over now to Trinidad, where the Attorney General is chiding Public Service Association leader Watson Duke. He's accusing the trade unionist of sparking panic in the judiciary and causing some workers to stay off the job. We get more in the CNC3 report.
I take this opportunity to condemn in the most straight of terms the panic that is being put out by a politician who wears the hat as the president of the Public Services Association.
It's clear how the Attorney General is viewing the PSA leader and his holiday for justice, which has seen judiciary staff away from the job, forcing court matters to be rescheduled and, in some instances, crippling the court system. The action has been prompted by what the PSA president says is a transformation in the judiciary that would see workers being sent home by September 1st. But the Attorney General says it will not be a case where positions are decreased, but in fact, the complete opposite.
There is, in the expansion of the criminal division, the creation of a number of posts, employment opportunities, and a betterment for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago in the arena that is the criminal justice arena.
The Attorney General is also taking issue with Duke's claims that the PSA was only consulted once and given very little information.
And finally, on the international scene, Pope Francis has rejected the resignation of a French cardinal who was handed a 6-month suspended sentence for failing to report sex abuse by a priest under his authority. The 68-year-old is the most senior French cleric caught up in the global pedophilia scandal that has rocked the Catholic Church. We get more in this report.
The two are reputedly close. And after meeting at the Vatican on Monday, Pope Francis has decided not to accept French Cardinal Philippe Barbarin's resignation as Archbishop of Lyon. In a statement, Barbarin said that Pope Francis instead asked him to do what he thinks is best for the diocese. Barbarin said he decided to step down from his job and had asked his deputy in Lyon to run day-to-day affairs. The Cardinal is the highest-ranking French cleric caught up in the Catholic Church's global sex abuse scandal. On the 7th of March, a French court handed him a 6-month suspended prison sentence for failing to report the sexual abuse of Boy Scouts by a priest in his parish. The Pope's unexpected decision on the case comes as he seeks to restore faith in the Church, after years of being criticised for not tackling the problem. In February, Pope Francis took the unprecedented step of defrocking a former cardinal and Archbishop of Washington, D.C., Theodore McCarrick, after the Church found him guilty of sexual abuse. But the pontiff has been loath to take such measures in case they influence the outcome of trials. He may consider that in Barbarin's case, the judicial process isn't over yet, with the cardinal planning to appeal the French court's decision.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screen play at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Carol Williams. Have a good day.